Dear friends in Jesus Christ, I'm very happy to meet you all this morning. So, my dear friends, today we shall reflect on the theme B28. This B28 is neither a hymn from the joyful lips nor an apartment number or a bus number. We shall see in between what this B28 means. Before that, we shall reflect on the readings of today. So we have first reading the Psalms and the Gospel. If we arrange them chronologically, the Psalms are written first and the Gospel, then later the first reading, that is the letter to Hebrews. In all these readings, the one thing is very clear, that people are weak, and with the strength of God, with the power of God, they gain strength. In the Psalms, we perceive that the psalm is written by King David. He feels the divine abandonment for a period of time, and he does all the sins, commits adultery, so and so. He cuts off from the sight of the Lord. Cutting off from the sight of the Lord here is not following the rules, not following the Torah, and not following the teachings of Moses. And later he prays and gains strength in the Lord, and he comes back to Lord and he has a new life. In the Gospel, we have a beautiful scene of a man who is possessed with an evil spirit. The Gospel today is very large. We can pick up few words from the Gospel. The few words are Decapolis, pig, the self-harm, legion, and Jesus healing. The Decapolis reminds us that it's not the territory of Jews. It's the territory of Gentiles. Jews perceive or understand this Decapolis is something unclean, because the Decapolis where the tombs are placed, and the Jews think this place is something unclean. But Jesus goes there and he heals, he does his ministry there also. And pig symbolizes the group mentality. In psychology, we have a concept called bandwagon effect. That means what the group of people do, other people, those who join there, they also tend to do the same. So the pig symbolizes the group mentality and self-harm. The man who is possessed with evil, he is beating himself. For example, we have like negative thoughts that harms us, so that can be compared to self-harm. And the legion can be looked at the unclean spirit. In our lives, the unclean spirit would be arrogance, laziness, so and so. And Jesus healing. So far the man who is possessed with evil is weak, and Jesus heals them later. So we see the weakness to strength. And in the letter to Hebrews, there are a lot of personalities are mentioned. We take few personalities like Samson, David, and Samuel. Samson, he was weak. He fell into temptation and betrayal. Later, he regained his strength. And King David, he fell into adultery and murder. Later, he saw the Lord. Samuel, he was rejected by people of Israel, because the people of Israel were demanding for a king. But so far, Samuel could not satisfy their thoughts, so he felt rejected. Later, Samuel was exalted by God. So all these readings we see from weakness to strength, from weakness to something great, that something happens. So for us, weakness to strength doesn't happen one day. This B28 is Bharamacharya for 28 days. This Bharamacharya means it comes from it has its own roots from Vedic tradition. This Bharamacharya is actually the student phase of life in ashram. Their focus is 28 days, they focus on learning they focus on self-discipline, they focus on celibacy. So this complete 28 days, complete cut off from all the distractions, the focus is on only one thing. So from here, those who undergo this Bharamacharya phase of time, they have a weakness to professional skill settings. So if you want to be a musician, 28 days complete challenge, so we become a musician. If you want to be speaker or player, so and so it happens. So to implement this in our day-to-day life, that is the 1% rule. This idea is drawn from James Clear from his book Atomic Habits. Most of you might have read. He says 1% of change in our lives would bring a massive change in the future. For example, after brushing in the morning, we can take for 1 minute 10 push-ups, and for 1 minute we can avoid social media distraction, and for 1 minute we can pray in the chapel, and for 1 minute every day we can double our skills. So these are the ideas that happens with the 1% of rule. So my dear friends, as the personalities expressed in the readings of today, how they moved from weakness to strength, we can also move from our weakness to strength and weakness to professionalism by following week 28 with the rule 1%. Be a brahmacharya for 28 days and follow the rule 1%, and we see massive change. And all this happens with the help of the Lord. And let us keep our trust and faith in Him and hope in the Lord. Live Jesus.